All right, all right, all right. Let me stop this little daydreaming music we have playing. Today, you are with me, your host, Friday Jones, on another quick episode of Friday Jones Uncensored. And today, first of all, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Constance Jones Muhammad. I am Friday Jones on all social media platforms. I'm the president of the National Assembly of American Slavery Descendants. I am the vice chair of Los Angeles's Reparations Advisory Commission. This show is about my views on things happening in the reparations space, and all the views are my own. So I just want to establish that. We today are going to get into Riche Greenberg in the San Francisco case. This is a quick pop-up. I will be officially launching this show on March 20th, which is a Friday. I'm working behind the scenes to tighten up some of our production value, but I was not going to let this slide. And so I'm going to share with you guys the tweet, the X post that started this whole thing. And so this is actually me on X. You can follow me on Instagram, X, Facebook, YouTube. All things are at I am Friday Jones. And so I posted this, going to do a short live tomorrow. Internet Warriors was this guy in the Epstein files with Musk and Gates. And, you know, I said what I said. I'm just asking questions. None of my internet warriors has gotten back to me. I don't have time or staff to go through all of the Epstein files. But this guy, Riche Greenberg, posted this. Breaking: Riche Greenberg et al., which in legal terms means and other people, sues the city of San Francisco and the San Francisco Human Rights Commission over reparations plans. So here we are in the United States, and this guy wants to act like the many travesties that have happened to whether you call yourselves foundational Black Americans, whether you call yourself American Negro, we were called mulattoes and all these other phrases, and now African American, thanks to the 1980s and Jesse Jackson. However you want to self-identify, we know basically this means American freedmen, also folks that were here emancipated by that 13th Amendment, were here at the founding of this country in 1776. This man wants to pretend that human rights violations did not happen on American soil. And so he has a link here and we're going to get into this Pacific Legal. We know who Pacific Legal is. It's run by the Ed Blum attorney who has been filing all of these cases. If you remember, Keisha Knight Pullum's company, the Fearsome Fund, had a case by these people. And so we're going to read what they wrote. But this is the post that I was responding to. And if you see, and I kind of had to laugh because it didn't take him too long, he blocked me. Greenberg Nation has blocked you. And I said, so Greenberg wants to be an anti-reparations case leader and wants to appear on Fox News, but block a reparations advocate. The funny thing is, I have been following him because he is pretty critical of Gavin Newsom. If you follow me on social media, my issue with Gavin Newsom is he has been part of the reparations stalling that has happened in the state, where California was actually and doing very well at leading the way. And so I think it's funny. I take it as a badge of honor that I'm blocked by a whole nation of people that support Mr. Greenberg. And so let's get into Greenberg Nation, because, you know, this is the internet. This is his website. This is Mr. Greenberg. Riche Greenberg is an American conservative commentator, activist, politician, and journalist. He was the Republican candidate for San Francisco mayor in 2018, and he previously served as a delegate on the San Francisco GOP and California GOP. He has launched several high-profile campaigns opposing local elected officials and ballot measures, working relentlessly for accountability. This is the part I had fun with, because it says that Mr. Greenberg is a native New Yorker. So am I, Mr. Greenberg. He was born in Queens and raised on Long Island, New York. I was born in Brooklyn, baby, and I wasn't raised on Long Island. And if you know anything about Long Island was a Levittown. And for those of you who don't know what Levittowns are, we're going to learn today. This is from Newsday. And Long Island divided, Levittown. The legacy of exclusion is taught to shed basically racism. And I should put a link of this article somewhere, but I don't have a moderator, so this is why these things are so short, because I can only pack enough information in here really quickly and fast. So Levittown, I'm not going to get into all of this, but the real estate agents in Levittown basically created 3 communities: Merrick, Rockville Center, and they were overwhelmingly selling to whites. And if you ask, oh, well, why were they selling to whites here on this map, 1970, talking about the population, 2010, 88% white. By 2017, the census estimated that the population was 75% white, 14% Hispanic, and 7% Asian, and 1% Black. This is from 2010, 2017. Levittowns were formed, and it gives the specific year here in this case, but the reality is Levittowns had, right here, you see it, a common practice at that time. It had restrictive covenants, and these covenants were backed by our United States of America, until the U.S. Supreme Court struck it down. But the builder, who got his money from taxpayer Black Americans included money, Mr. Greenberg, he kept it that way. And so my guess is that this guy is one of the people that lived in a Levittown out there on Long Island. He ran away from Queens because New York experienced a white flight, and it experienced white flight because our United States government made it easy for white families to buy houses where they didn't have to see no Negroes. Levittown restricted racial covenants to read: the tenant agrees not to permit the premises to be used or occupied by any person other than members of the Caucasian race, but the employment and maintenance of other than Caucasian domestic servants shall be permitted. So we could come and work and clean houses, but we couldn't own property that was stood up with this developer, Mr. Levitt, by our United States government. I don't know if the man lived in Levittown. All I'm saying is, if you understand Long Island, and shout out to the Shinnecock Nation, because those are my people out there in the Hamptons, the indigenous nation, the indigenous people of New York, you would understand what happened in Long Island. And it gives you a glimpse into how this man grew up, who is now in San Francisco suing the municipality of San Francisco over their reparations efforts. He has this Greenberg Nation delivering change. He's so proud of himself. He's so proud of himself, y'all. Working together. He wants to, spearhead things, and he wants to be the big man in San Francisco's campus. But you're not the only big man walking. Some big men are women, and I'm gonna leave it at that. This is the Pacific Legal Foundation website that he points folks to, and we're gonna read it. I'm gonna go through it. And at some point, because they have the complaint here, I did download the complaint, but I cannot get to that today. San Francisco has made a racial classification and operational function. This is what they're claiming of city government, assigning public employees and public resources to decide who may access benefits based on race. That use of public power, ongoing, funded, and institutionalized, violates the Equal Protection Clause and warrants immediate judicial review. Using racial criteria to determine eligibility for public benefits is a violation of the Constitution's guarantee of equal treatment. Now, the unfortunate part of this is that, the founders and makers of the Constitution were forward thinking. And when slavery was ended, they basically tried to make it so that there could not be any accountability or responsibility for slavery in the United States. And the thing about the 14th Amendment is it works two ways, meaning if some harms have been done, then you absolutely can have race specific, although as a lineage-based reparationist and what San Francisco wrote in terms of policy, it's not race-based, it's lineage specific, it's harm specific. But this is how these people think, that it's a one-size-fits-all and they can drop this 14th Amendment down any way they want to without anyone pointing them out. But here, your modern reparationist, Friday Jones, we here to say, sir, no, you can't. Once you put your name on the case and the complaint, you get to be fair game in a public space. So San Francisco residents, Riche Greenberg and Arthur Richie, as well as the Californians for Equal Rights Foundation, filed a lawsuit challenging San Francisco's use of race in the distribution of government benefits in violation of the Equal Protection Clause, represented at no cost by Pacific Legal, which is, the clown Ed Blum. The plaintiffs seek to halt the December 2025 ordinance establishing a race-based reparations fund and to prevent the legal, fiscal, and moral consequences embedding racial classification into city governance. You know what would have been helpful? If the California Legislative Black Caucus and if Gavin Newsom hadn't blocked Senator Bradford's legislation from 2024, because then all of 2025 could have been setting up and establishing a statewide criteria. It could have had money being set aside for legal actions, like when Gavin Newsom went to the state and once Trump was elected, he asked for 100 million. That 100 million wound up being reduced to 25 million. But, had they done reparations right at the state level, they could be assisting San Francisco right now with these actions. But, they fumbled the ball. And so here we are. The ordinance stems from the African American Reparations Advisory Commission, which the city established in 2020 to develop reparations proposals addressing what it described as institutional city-sanctioned harm that has been inflicted upon African American communities in San Francisco. It releases its suggestions in 2023, which include programs that will benefit exclusively residents who identify as Black or African American. We have been telling legacy organizations and organizers that such language is the trick bag to take the loss in the court system. We have consistently been saying that. We have consulted with, and I personally interviewed, you can go look back at the interview on Politics in Black when I was co-hosting with Chad Brown. It's on their Leap channel or on YouTube. We interviewed Dean Erwin Chemerinsky, who is the Dean of Berkeley Law. He is the most quoted constitutional lawyer in law schools across America. That is the caliber of person that we started our work with. But legacy organizers, NAACP, ACLU, who have not put themselves into this reparations efforts for lineage-based reparations, they have not lent legal counsel for free, like these people here, Ed Bloom and his nonprofit. They haven't done that, but we have done the research. And so I'm encouraging attorneys to come talk to the California reparationists from Coalition of a Just and Equitable California, to myself, to the people who have been in this space for years and are now subject matter experts. Anyway, moving right along. Among the complaints, a one-time lump sum payment of $5 million, supplemental income for lower income households, payment of home ownership expenses, automatic qualification and priority for rental of home ownership opportunities, priority for employment. I'm going to drop this banner here. Type the word letter on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, wherever it is that you're watching this broadcast, because at the end of this, we're actually going to have a call to action. We're going to have a call to action. And it's very important that those of you who are following me, part of the reason that I decided to have a channel is because we've got to find a way to organize actions, letting people in the reparations community know what's happening across our country, what's happening across the state of California, which is where I just happen to live. And so that's where a lot of my energy is focused. But we have to start sharing information, and we have to start activating across state lines to cut down people like Mr. Riche Greenberg. All right. So if you're seeing this, if you're watching this broadcast, I need you to drop the word letter, and I will get into what we're trying to do with that in a couple of minutes here. Basically, the taxpayers who act like the 2.6 million Black Californians don't also pay taxes, and that we are not supposed to advocate for ourselves and actually make demands for our specific community, as if isn't that what our taxes are for? To take care of the constituents. So we're supposed to take care of all other constituency problems, but not Black people constituency problems. To me, that's a violation of the 14th Amendment, but I'm not a lawyer, so don't quote me on that. But I'm just telling you how my uncensored feelings feel. Taxpayer plaintiffs argue that the county of San Francisco, the money cannot be used to administer funds for programs that discriminate on the basis of race and ancestry. It does not discriminate. It remedies based on past discrimination and past racism. So language is important. Racial and ancestral classifications warrant the most demanding standard of constitutional review. Under that test, the government must show its race and ancestry-based policy serves a compelling governmental interest, and it is narrowly tailored to achieve this interest. So I'm going to say I agree with you, Richie. I'm going to say I agree. There's a good brother named Walter. I'm not going to say his last name, but shout out Walter. I got people that send me stuff all the time. All the time. You can't see this, but it's pages and pages of data information that is very, very pertinent to some of the work that we do. And the reason that I'm shouting out the good brother here is because states, this is a report about states and how states, including the United States government, has been funding Holocaust victims, I believe since might not have the year right because I put tabs in here, but I also didn't think before going live to put the tab in here that I was going to need. But this since 1952. 1952. So if your argument is that racial and ancestral classifications warrant the most demanding standard and constitutional review, I say let's start getting these state governments to review that spending. Let's see how much Holocaust era funding has been spent by the state of California. I have it in my report right here that Walter gave me. And no one seems to think to talk about that. And yet we have it's so much in this country that if you say certain things, you're accused of being a racist. You're accused of being anti-Semitic, even though I don't know, there are multiple Semitic people on the face of the planet Earth. But if you say certain things against a particular population, all of a sudden you are a racist. It's not a religious prosecution, it's a racial prosecution. And so under the test that the government must show, its race and ancestry-based policy must serve compelling governmental interests. Well, what's the compelling governmental interest behind these spends at state levels, at municipal levels, at the United States level? What is the compelling governmental interest? Because if the compelling governmental interest you're telling me is not the American people itself, including American Freedmen people and Black American people and Negro people and foundational Black American people and African American people whose families have been here since 1776, some of whom fought in the Revolutionary War and then fought again in the Civil War, so that we have this union as we know it today. I'm not sure who you're talking about. So I just wanted to drop this little gem. I try to keep these shows at about 20 minutes. And again, I'm going to put this little banner up because the banner is going to give you a little information with our call to action. If you type the word letter on your Instagram, X, IG, Facebook, YouTube, I will send you our activation, because we are activating against this. We are going to fight back. We're not just going to allow Mr. Riche Greenberg to just block people because he does not want to take the heat. You wanted to start this action with a lawsuit. We are going to follow your lawsuit. We are going to make sure that our voices is heard. And for our lawyers out there, I don't know how to write amicus brief, but I need some attorneys to hit me too, who are willing to write amicus brief on behalf of American Freedmen. I'm not going to put all of our actions in for public consumption because everybody's always watching. That's why they got the almighty, all watching eye, because they're always watching. And so I'm sure they're watching now. But anyway, I want to shout out the good Miss Ann from Project 43. Miss Ann is not doing well. Later today, I'm going to share some information. She was in the hospital at the end of 2025. She's getting back on her feet, but she needs community help. I'm going to post links to how you can help out Miss Ann from Project 43. She's been serving and feeding the community here in South LA. In my neighborhood, not 5-10 minutes, not even from where I am in South LA. And so I just want for us to bring her into consciousness, send some love and light to her. I am Friday Jones. We do have a call to action. Drop the word letter and I will make sure that you get it. And that's it. I'm going to see Miss Ann, make sure she good. Peace and reparations until next time.